before the conversation ends, the night cools, and the space between them disappears, make sure you're still here. Subscribe to Emo Saga for grounded, sensual romances where every moment builds naturally and every ending makes sense. The streetlight hums softly overhead, not loud enough to be annoying, just present, casting a warm, amber circle on the sidewalk that feels separate from the rest of the street. Beyond it, the night stretches darker, quieter, like everything important has been gathered into this one pool of light. I stop there because the conversation hasn't finished. That's the reason I give myself. The truth is more honest. I'm not ready to walk away yet. You don't have to wait, he says, half turning as if to leave. I know, I reply, but I don't move. Neither does he. We've already said our goodbyes once tonight. Polite once, easy once. The kind people say when they assume the moment has run its course. But something about the way he looked at me when he said it, like he was closing a door too quickly, made my chest tighten just enough that I stopped walking. And now we're here, under the streetlight, together. The neighborhood is quiet. Most windows dark. A car passes somewhere down the block, tires whispering over pavement before fading again. The air smells faintly like rain that never came. He shifts his weight, hands tucked casually into his jacket pockets, posture relaxed but attentive. You want to finish saying something, he says gently. It's not a question. It's an invitation. Yes, I admit. I didn't like how that ended. He studies my face carefully. Because it felt unfinished? Yes. The word lands steady between us. We've known each other long enough for this moment not to feel reckless, but not long enough for it to feel inevitable either. Mutual friends. Overlapping circles. Conversations that always stayed just on the safe side of personal. Until tonight. Tonight, something shifted. I'm glad you stopped, he says. So am I. The agreement settles without tension. The streetlight flickers once, then steadies again. The glow warms his features, softening the concentration in his eyes. I was trying not to overthink things earlier, he says. And now I'm trying not to rush them. That matters. It matters more than charm ever could. I cross my arms loosely, not from cold, but from the instinct to anchor myself in the moment. He notices immediately. You okay? He asks. Yes, I say. Just feeling the night. He smiles faintly. Yeah, it does that. We stand closer than we were before. Not touching, but close enough that the space feels deliberate rather than accidental. I don't usually linger like this, I admit. I had a feeling, he replies. You strike me as someone who decides carefully. And you. I notice when something deserves a pause. A breeze curls around us, cool but gentle. I shiver lightly without meaning to. He shifts closer, not abruptly, not intrusively. Just enough that his body blocks the wind. The change is immediate. Subtle. Intentional. Better, he asks. Yes, I say quietly. I don't step away. Neither does he. The conversation slows, not because we've run out of words, but because neither of us wants to fill the space unnecessarily. I like this light, I say after a moment. The streetlight. Yes, it makes everything feel contained. He glances up at it, like we're the only ones here. Exactly. I become aware of how close he's standing now. Close enough that I can feel warmth radiating from him. The quiet steadiness of his presence, grounding rather than overwhelming. You can tell me if this is too close, he says. I consider it. It's not, I reply. The certainty surprises me. He nods once, accepting the answer without testing it. That respect deepens the moment more than anything else could. We talk then about small things at first. The vet we just left. Mutual acquaintances. The way nights like this make conversations feel more honest. Somewhere between sentences, our proximity shifts again. Not because one of us steps forward, because neither of us steps back. I keep noticing the way you listen, he says quietly. How so? You don't interrupt, he replies. You wait until you understand what you want to say. I smile faintly. That's rare. It is, he says, and attractive. The word doesn't feel heavy. It feels observed. I meet his gaze fully now. You're very attentive. I say. I try to be, he replies. especially when something feels significant. And does this? I ask. Yes, he says without hesitation. The honesty lands deep, steadying something inside me. The streetlight hums on. The night holds its breath. I shift my stance slightly, angling my body more toward him. The movement closes the distance without either of us acknowledging it outright. His breath changes, just subtly. This is where it usually gets complicated. I say softly. Only if we pretend it is, he replies. And if we don't, then it's just two people choosing not to rush away. That's exactly how it feels. He lifts his hand slowly, deliberately, not reaching yet, just raising it between us like a question. I watch it. I don't stop it. His hand settles in my upper arm. Warm, steady, not pulling, just there. The contact sends a quiet awareness through me. Not shock, recognition. I exhale slowly. You didn't ask, I murmur. I was about to, he replies. But you didn't move. He's right. I didn't. Tell me if this isn't okay, he says softly. It's okay, I reply. The certainty in my voice feels real. He stills completely, reading me, honoring the moment. Then his hand remains, unchanged, respectful. The street feels very far away now. Cars pass somewhere beyond the glow, but they don't intrude. This feels different, I say. Yes, he agrees, but not sudden. No, I reply. It feels like it's been waiting. He smiles faintly. I was hoping you'd say that. His hand slides slightly from my arm to my waist, slow enough that I could stop it. I don't. It settles there naturally, as if it's always known where it belongs. My breath catches, but my body relaxes. You're very calm, he says. So are you. Because this doesn't feel like a mistake, he adds. No, I agree. It doesn't. The space between us closes another inch. Not because either of us leans in, because neither of us pulls away. This was just supposed to be finishing a conversation. I say softly, yes, and now. He meets my gaze, eyes steady. Now it feels like we're deciding whether to end the night, or stay with it a little longer. The words settle into my chest. Warm, certain. I tilt my head slightly, close enough now to feel the warmth of his breath. He doesn't kiss me. Not yet. Instead, his forehead rests briefly against mine, a quiet, intimate gesture that stills everything. You don't have to stay, he murmurs. I know, but you are. Yes. The streetlight continues to glow above us. The night waits. And standing there, with his hand steady at my waist, and the conversation finally honest, I know one thing clearly. I didn't stop under the streetlight because I was unsure. I stopped because I wasn't finished. The streetlight doesn't flicker again. It holds steady, like it's decided to stay with us as long as we need it to. His hand is still on my waist, warm through the fabric of my coat. Not tightening, not wandering. Just present. The kind of touch that feels less like taking and more like being acknowledged. The night feels quieter now. Not because the street has changed, but because my attention has. This doesn't feel like how nights usually end. I say softly. No, he agrees. It feels like the part most people rush past. I smile faintly. Why you think that is? Because endings make people nervous, he replies. Pauses ask you to be honest. That lands deeper than I expect. We stand there another moment, close enough now that the air between us feels intentional rather than empty. I can feel the steady rhythm of his breathing, the calm certainty in the way he's holding himself. You don't seem nervous, I say. I am, he admits. Just not in a bad way. What kind of way, then? The kind where you don't want to get it wrong. That steadies something inside me. I shift slightly, adjusting my stance onto the streetlight. His hand follows the movement naturally, maintaining the same closeness without tightening its hold. You're very aware, I say. So are you, he replies. You didn't pull away. No, I say, because I didn't want to. The honesty feels easy now. A car passes at the end of the block, headlights briefly sweeping over us before disappearing again. For a moment, we're visible. Then we're not. The world continues. We stay. I don't want this to be something that only exists in this light. I say. It won't be, he answers immediately. Not if we don't let it. And you don't want to rush it. I add. No, he says. I want it to make sense tomorrow, too. That matters. More than intensity. More than impulse. I step closer. Not tentatively. Not subtly. Just close enough that my body aligns with his, like the space has been negotiating this distance all along. His hand slides, just slightly, settling more securely at my waist. The touch feels now familiar. You're very calm, he murmurs. So are you. Because this doesn't feel like a mistake, he says. No, I agree. It feels like a choice. He leans in then, but not to kiss me. Instead, his forehead rests lightly against mine, a quiet, intimate pause that stills everything else. I close my eyes without thinking, breathing him in, the night narrowing to this one point of warmth and certainty. I like that you stayed, he says softly. I like that you didn't rush me. I reply. We stay there like that for a moment, sharing the stillness. When he kisses me, it's slow, unhurried, not claiming, not overwhelming. Just enough to confirm what we've already decided. My hand comes up to rest against his chest, fingers curling lightly into the fabric of his jacket. His other hand remains steady in my waist, grounding me in the moment rather than pulling me deeper into it. The kiss doesn't escalate. It settles. When we part, it's mutual. Necessary. That felt, I start. Right? He finishes quietly. I smile. Yes. We don't rush apart. Instead, we stay close, arms relax around each other, the intimacy now calm rather than charged. I should probably go, I say eventually. Yes, he agrees. Still, neither of us moves right away. We both laugh softly at that. Walk with me for a minute? I ask. Of course, he says. We move down the sidewalk together, hands brushing occasionally, sometimes intertwining without either of us making a point of it. The neighborhood is quiet, settled for the night, windows dark and peaceful. This feels different in motion, I say. Yes, he replies, but not less real. I glance at him. You don't sound uncertain. I'm not, he says. I'm just not rushing. We stop near the corner, where the streetlight's glow fades into shadow. This feels like another decision point, I say. It does, he agrees. He doesn't step closer, doesn't step away. He's leaving the choice open again. I don't want this to end as just a moment, I say. It won't, he replies. Not if we treat it properly. And what does that look like? Daylight, he says. Normal conversations. Seeing if what feels grounded at night holds up when everything's clear. I smile. Coffee. He smiles back. I was hoping you'd say that. We exchange numbers easily, without ceremony, without urgency. I'll text you tomorrow, he says. I'll look forward to it, I reply. Before we part, he leans in once more, pressing a brief, warm kiss to my cheek. Affectionate, steady, reassuring. Get home safe, he says. You too. I walk away this time. Not because the moment pushes me out, but because it's complete. I don't look back. I don't need to. The next day, coffee feels easy. Bright. Uncomplicated in the best way. We sit across from each other in the daylight, discovering that nothing feels awkward. Nothing feels smaller than it did the night before. You're exactly the same, he says. So are you? I reply. That's a relief. It really is. Days pass. Then weeks. The connection grows quietly, steadily, through walks, shared conversations, pauses that no longer need streetlights to feel meaningful. Sometimes we linger. Sometimes we don't. But now when we stop walking, it's because we want to. One evening, much later, we find ourselves standing under another streetlight, finishing another conversation. He glances at me with a knowing smile. You do this thing, he says. What thing? You stop when the conversation isn't finished, he replies. I smile back. So do you.